What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about how long the Yuffie DLC will be, or at least speculate. We don't know for sure, although we do know how many chapters are in the Yuffie DLC, and we know how long chapters are in the base game, Final Fantasy VII Remake. So with that, we can make some educated guesses, but I want to talk about the price, because the price is known in case people don't know what it is. We'll go over that, as well as, how long, again, we think it could be, and is that worth it? Is that worth it? Obviously, this releases in just 2 weeks. I'm very excited. I don't want to take this, I don't want you guys to take this basically as like a bashing video or anything negative. I adored Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's my game of the year, or was my game of the year back in 2020. Okay, so I cannot wait for this. I'm ready for the upgrade. It is a free upgrade, so like my edition for PS4 goes to PS5 for free. Anybody else's obviously would do the same thing. And then the Yuffie DLC is obviously separate. So before we jump too far in, make sure, as always, if you guys haven't already, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Link for that is always in the description below, along with all of my other stuff, our Patreon and memberships, our Discord, our second channel, all that good stuff is in the description below. All right, so the length of the Yuffie DLC. So, well, I guess to make it very clear, remember, again, you get it for free. So if you had the PS4 version, you get the PS5 version for free. It's that free upgrade, and the DLC is separate. The DLC is only available on the PS5. So if you have the PS4, if you have like the base Final Fantasy VII game, you can't get the Yuffie DLC. Now, I'm not going to say that you can't complain about that. You have every single right to complain. I know there were people early on, at least, that were pretty upset about that. But you can only get it on PS5, and obviously, it's an addition. So, if you're doing that free upgrade, it's an additional $20. So it's $20 for the DLC for this Yuffie thing. So that's a fair amount of money for a DLC. It's not like we've been too far away from like season passes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's been a lot of things out in the world of more expensive than this for less value, and less expensive than this for more value. There's and also the reverse of everything that I just said, right? There's many different ways of doing this, but $20, and it's confirmed to be 2 chapters long. The Yuffie DLC is 2 chapters long. Now, and I'm going on a game rant, by the way, to go through this. They say, assuming that the 2 chapters are roughly the same average length as the ones in the full game in Final Fantasy VII Remake, fans can expect to spend approximately 4 hours total completing the Yuffie episode. If Yuffie's story includes side objectives and tasks similar to some of them in Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I do think there will be, that number could increase by a couple hours depending on player tendencies. Then they go on to say, this was before they knew the price. They say that like it will probably be priced around $9.99, so they were $10 off. And maybe honestly the $10 kind of was influenced, like them typing that part was kind of influenced by them saying to themselves, okay, maybe around 4 hours. I agree with that. I think for DLC, for something like this, to kind of copy what we know the length of like the base game to be, that in terms of like the chapter length, that would make sense. So 2 chapters, a rough average, I would say is anywhere between, I mean, if you wanted to be really safe, you could say like 3 to 5 hours, right? And then if you do that additional side stuff, and the side stuff's pretty solid. To be honest with you, I mean, I just want to jump back into that game. I'm not 100% even sold on myself replaying it. I don't know. It depends on time, and it comes out right before Ratchet and Clank, which comes out right before E3, and then I'm going to go visit my family in early July, my parents. So, like, there's going to be stuff that I'm doing. I don't know if I'll be able to jump back into it right away. I think my personal plan would be to play the DLC, probably beat it in a day. I may play it straight through, to be flat out honest with you guys, that Tuesday, just play it straight through, and that way I'm ready for Ratchet and Clank, you know what I mean? And then if I have time, late June, late July, jump back into Final Fantasy. I would say, well, look, okay, I love Final Fantasy. It really depends on, I would say, your love or your interest in a certain thing. I've said it before, a game like, and I always go back to this, Life is Strange, okay? Episodic game, not all that stuff. The first one. I despise the second one. But the first game, that was episodic, and I believe they had, like, that season pass where if you bought it early, I think it was $5 an episode, so it would be $25. But I think if you bought it early, the full thing was $20. I would spend $100 on that game. I really would. Now, it's it was 20, or it could be 25 depending if you bought it, separately. And, maybe the perceived value of an episodic game like that is low. Like, the amount you'd want to spend on it is low. But, like, I love that game so much, I'd spend pretty much anything on it. Do you know what I mean? In fact, I did. I rebought it physically when, like, the collector's edition came out with the soundtrack and all that stuff. I rebought it. So, the game's worth a lot to me. For this Yuffie DLC, it's not the exact same thing, obviously, but I love to death 7's remake. I said that before. It was the first. I played 15, but I didn't play it all the way. I watched my sister play the Lightning games, but that's it. I haven't played any other Final Fantasy game. So 7 Remake was the first one I ever played. And like I said, my game of the year pretty easily. Ghost of Tsushima was kind of close, maybe, of last year. Final Fantasy 7 Remake. So for me, $20 to play 4 hours, pretty solid. I would say that's a pretty okay price, considering Resident Evil Village took me like 8 hours to beat. I spent $60, so actually you're getting a better deal playing the Yuffie DLC than you are Resident Evil. But again, it just to me, it always comes down to just how much I care about it. I am completely fine with buying a full price game that's a short game. So a short game story length and paying full price for it. I'm completely fine with that. So honestly, using that exact same logic for this, I would be completely fine with a 4-hour thing. But I do think that's going to be right. So I'm expecting 3 to 5 hours. I will probably take my time. If there is side stuff in this game, I would probably play it. So I would guess 5 to 6 hours, probably max. I don't know if we'll see people. We'll have to look on like howlongtobeat.com. Remember, that's a fantastic website. I definitely advise everybody to go on to that when games are out, when people kind of can put their stats in. I couldn't imagine it getting probably more than 6 hours, but who knows? It's very possible each chapter maybe it's like 3 hours long, or maybe. Well, I was gonna say maybe it's like one small, one big. I guess that evens out, right? If the first chapter is like an hour, but the second chapter is like 3 hours, and it's like a big finale, it equals out. You know what I mean? So I think 4 to 5 hours, and then probably an extra hour or so for side quests makes a fair amount of sense. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? How long do you think the game's gonna be? How long does it need to be in order to justify $20, right, to buy it? Let me know your thoughts. Again, make sure if you haven't already, you guys are subscribed, bell icon, all that good stuff, and then all of our social media stuff's in the description below. If you guys want to check out our Twitter, our second channel, Discord, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching. I will be covering the Yuffie DLC when it comes out in 2 weeks, and I hope to see you guys there.